So Flextail have been kind enough to send me their new Zero mattress, but the difference with this one is apparently the pump is built in. Doesn't seem too heavy or too bulky. This is the RO5 one, I think. Yeah, R5 Zero mattress, so not full on winter, more a kind of 3 season to maybe early 4 season. Let's find out what kind of weight we're looking at for this thing. So just over 600 grams, though I haven't looked inside. I dare say there might be repair patches, etc. Oh, okay, so we Velcro strap, presumably just to roll it round it once you take the thing out. And yeah, just the usual, I think it's a couple of repair patches in there. Yeah, it comes in the Dayglow, how would you describe it, airbed colour. Looks like you should use it in a swimming pool. Yet again, but that kind of put me off the first time I saw it, but actually I didn't mind it once I started using it. So I don't know how much you can see here. I haven't looked at this yet, but it feels like there's a mini pump in here, I suspect. And then there's the usual valve here. So I guess we just close that and then we must be able to start this. So this is the mummy shape. I'll measure it for you. I think this is quite a short one, but for me it's probably sufficient. I think it's about 183 centimetres. We'll blow it up and have a look at it. No idea how this works yet. There's no instructions. You can feel how bulky this little bit is at the back. So it's something to consider when you're packing it. You have to be kind of, imagine you might have to be a bit careful just how you roll the thing. But I'll open it now and see how we start it. Button. Oh, there you go. You have to kind of, try and hold that open. Otherwise it'll be starved of air, I guess. It's a bit annoying that you kind of, I suppose you could tuck it like that, maybe. Yeah, that'll hold. That's pretty full. 106. That was actually surprisingly convenient. Let's just pop that back in to protect it. 190 long, 53 wide. It's not very scientific, but just to give you an idea, I'm 5'8". So yeah, this is kind of minimum width. It'll fit me okay, but as I say, for taller users you can get bigger and wider versions. But they've only, I think, got a few samples at the moment, so they've sent me basically what they had. This insulating layer, whether it's a fabric or whether it's got something in it, I don't know. It only extends out to the outer tubes, it's the centre section. In reality, when I used it in some cold weather last year on the original Flextail, I didn't feel any cold coming through the outer baffles, despite the fact the insulation doesn't come out to the edges. It'd be interesting to get some other users' points of view to see if they've noticed anything different, but I certainly didn't feel any cold creeping through at the edges on mine, on the previous one. And I find the vertical tubes quite comfortable. And I quite like the way it just hugged you, so you don't tend to roll off or fall off the mat. But on this, I felt slightly more contained. It's a bit like a Recaro seat in a sports car. So I've spoken to Flextail since I last filmed, and they were saying that it's going to be launched on Kickstarter. And this pump inside is apparently removable. There's a little pop-out lever. Oh, you just pull it out. There you go, that's the actual size of the pump. So in many ways it's actually even smaller than the previous tiny pump, which is pretty impressive. So it's one less thing to lose. I'm more inclined to use this with this built in, but you've also got the option to remove it completely and save a few grams. So the pump itself, 50 grams roughly. They've also said that you can pop this back in and it will deflate it. No problem, probably about a minute again just to deflate. And you can see the little button on the top here. You just switch that off. And this little pop out lever is how you remove and replace it inside. And I believe this is charged by, yeah, it's a USB-C. So I'll charge this back up. Actually it arrived charged, or it seems to be working at the moment. There was no instruction manual, no cable, but that's purely because this is a prototype or an early sample. The retail version will come with a USB-C cable and a manual. But basically there's a slot on one side of the pump and it has to line up with a groove inside the cavity, and then it just pushes in and locks in place. To remove it, you just lift this little handle, see here, and pull it back out, and then you just seal as normal. So I suppose actually at the end of the day, you've got the option to go with pump, go without pump. And once it's in place, it's one less thing to lose. It's smaller than the tiny pump, if a wee bit wider. And it's only 50 grams extra. So actually, yeah, it's quite an elegant solution, I think, overall. But the only way to test it is get it in a tent and try it out for comfort, which I'll do very shortly. But I hope this first impression of it gives you some idea of what they're up to. And it'll be interesting to get your comments and think whether you think it's a kind of step forward in terms of innovation. I actually quite like it. I mean, I've seen other pumps built into airbeds, etc., but this is quite an elegant little solution, so I quite like it so far.